He is right though. This is a changelog video. Before we get into features, there is an important change that must be addressed. Director block functionality is now being removed. The reason for this is to simplify development for a major upcoming feature. It would be a great burden to implement what's coming next for both scenes and director blocks, so we'll be casually removing it. If scenes are too hard for you to tackle, you're free to close this video and continue using director blocks in any version below 2.1. However, if you're willing to migrate to scenes, your progress will not be lost. All director blocks will be converted to scenes upon entering the world. Check out these videos in the top right corner to learn more about scenes. Let's cover some of the smaller but neat features before we get into the big changes. In the model editor, there are two new options related to extruded layers. Extrusion max factor allows to make extruded layer bits thinner, which makes it possible to use with HD skins, while the extrusion inwards factor allows to compensate for little bits sticking out. For example, here for 2K skins, you can see how much empty space there is between the head and the outer layer's edge. If you would increase the inwards factor by 1, you would see how the outer layer becomes 1 bit thicker inwards. This is what it does. However, it isn't completely perfect as it might have some negative effects on the corners, but overall, it does the job. Another new feature is the set duration option in the sequencer morph. It allows users to use the duration of the sequence for animations using morphs such as Blockbuster models, image morphs, or emoticon morphs. To demonstrate, here is a sequencer with two different poses. Both morphs are set to a duration of 5 ticks, but are 20 ticks long in the sequencer. The difference is the second morph's set duration option is enabled. This makes it play for 20 ticks instead of 5 ticks like the first one. Now let's get into the juicy stuff. The features in this section have one common goal: the reproduction of playback. The first awesome feature is in-game audio synchronization. As the name implies, it provides a way to load an audio track to be synced with a scene. Here is a little demonstration.
Oh, that's interesting. The redstone wire is missing here. I wonder who could break it.
Maybe New.
Yeah, definitely new.
It's pretty cool, isn't it? For a full overview, check out a BB Tips video made by Tossler in the top right corner. The next feature is a bit less cooler, but it's still nice. Animated morphs can now be previewed in a scene with the camera editor by scrubbing through the timeline. This feature goes by the name of Better Preview. This is quite a minor feature, however I'm sure it will make editing animation stuff much easier, but there are a couple downsides to it. It doesn't work properly with the emoticons morph while previewing, and the performance may drop the more actors you use. You can disable this feature in Blockbuster's mod options under the recording category if you prefer it to be off. The final feature related to the reproduction of playback is Blockbuster's new body yaw rotation property. If you notice during the preview, sometimes the horizontal position of the body might change depending on how much you tweak the timeline and playback of the scene. This can be annoying because it messes up the preview of the poses, especially when two actors need to touch each other. The body yaw property solves this problem. When you record a new player recording, you will see that in the preview it won't wiggle around when you scrub back and forth. However, this property doesn't work with older player recordings. At least, not automatically. What you can do is use a new subcommand added in this update. /record calculate _body _yaw. What it does is it calculates the horizontal position for the player recordings that lack these values. After you applied this command to an old recording, it should work with the body yaw preview. If you still want the dynamic body yaw, you can disable the playback body yaw feature in Blockbuster's mod options under recording. The last big feature in this update is a big revamp of multiskin. So the first thing is the improved performance. Let's say we have 10 2K HD skins over here in multiskin. I myself have had performance issues loading these in bulk, but now if we unload these textures, they will all load asynchronously. If you still want an instant multi-skin loading, feel free to disable the multi-threaded processing and make libs mod options under the multi-skin category. The second neat little thing is that now you can sort multi-skin entries by drag and drop. Just hold down on any multi-skin entry and drop it anywhere in the list. And the final thing of the multi-skin revamp in this update is the multi-skin editor. If you press on the pencil on the bottom, the multi-skin editor will pop up. Here, you can have some really cool editing features. Every multi-skin layer can have its own options. Before we get into the options, let me show you the controls of the canvas. Middle mouse dragging allows you to move the canvas around. Mouse wheel scrolling allows to zoom in or out. Left mouse button dragging allows you to move around the multi-skin layer within the canvas. You can hold shift or control to limit the only vertical or horizontal shifting respectively. And finally, the zoom of the canvas determines the intensity of shifting, i.e. how many pixels per pixel on the screen will be shifted. The more it's zoomed in, the less intense it is. The more zoomed out, the more intense it is. Let's get into the options. The scale option allows you to scale up or down the multi-skin. This is pretty self-explanatory. However, scale to largest is a much more exciting feature. Let's say you have an HD overlay like Eils and a standard 64 by 64 pixel skin. In past versions, if you put these two together, you'll see that the skin won't be adjusted very well. It would be so small it would be all the way in the top left corner. Scale to largest option fixes it. It automatically upscales to the largest texture in the multi-skin list. Shift option was already shown, but basically you can manually adjust the position of the multi-skin, same as with left click dragging. Up next, we have a color option on the top. This option is very powerful with grayscale overlays. Let's say you have a grayscale pupil overlay. Instead of creating separate textures for every color you wish, you can have just one white pupil and then use this option to change the color. Next up, we have some very simple filters at the bottom. Pixelate option allows you to pixelate a multi-skin. The higher the number, the less details the skin has. You can use this to quickly create Minecraft-esque looking paintings from high-resolution photos. And finally, here is the erase option. What it does is it allows you to create a mask from the current multi-skin. Any non-transparent pixels in the multi-skin's texture that has this option enabled will erase any pixels that were combined by previous multi-skins. I'm not really sure how you guys will be able to use this feature, but this will come in handy with iRig 3.0. That's all we have to show for today. I hope this update will simplify the creation of animated scenes thanks to better preview and audio synchronization with dialogue scenes. If you'd like to support the creator, there is a link to McHorse's Patreon account down below. Next to that is his Discord server if you have any questions or issues regarding Blockbuster. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and goodbye!